my nails and my ring is matching my backdrop. Winning! Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Sahara Coleman. Today's video is going to be an exciting video because if you guys can't tell by the backdrop, my nails in this ring color, I'm going to be using the Disney Ohana Lilo and Stitch palette. Look at how cute this palette is. I'm so excited. So this palette is from Hot Topic and it costs $16.90. Normally in my videos when I do the swatches, I'll like swatch them on camera and do all of this, but I feel like that takes way too long, so I'm just going to swatch them off camera and then come back on camera to show you guys the swatches of this palette. I feel like if I was doing one of them ASMR videos, which I wouldn't, I'd be like... So here is the front of the palette. It says Disney Ohana eyeshadow palette. It has Stitch and Lilo on the front of it, and it's blue with hibiscus flowers. I think these are hibiscus flowers on the front. So here is the back of the palette. Just says a little bit about it, a quote and the price and all of that, and the expiration date. And now to the inside of the palette. It does come with a little cover on the front that I'm going to peel off because I don't even keep those anymore like I used to. At the top of the palette, it has Stitch's head, which is so cool as the mirror. It says Ohana in the mirror, and on the bottom right corner, it has, I think it's called Scrump. That's Lilo's stuffed animal. And then it has blue hibiscus flowers. Inside of the palette, you get 12 shades of mattes and shimmers, and you get a brush that I thought was going to feel like bamboo, but it's just a sticker. And this is a flat brush, perfect for applying the shades on the lids, which I didn't use this brush in the tutorial for some reason. So the first one is White Sand, and this is just like a matte tannish color. Next one is Hawaiian Rollercoaster Ride, and this is like a rose gold. Then Ohana, which is like a matte brown. Then Nani, which is like a shimmery purple. Then Kauai, which is a seafoam green. Bungalow, which is like a matte brown. Then Aloha, which is another like shimmery violet shade. Then Experiment 266, 626, which is a blue, of course, that's Stitch's color. Then Blue Hawaii, which is like a shimmery deep navy blue. Hula, which is like a shimmery pink. Then Paradise, which is a gold, a shimmer gold. And then Surf's Up, which is a light turquoise blue. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on this eye look. And I am going to be featuring some art in this look. It's the first time for everything, so let's get started. I'm first gonna start by priming my eyelids. Of course, I've already done my brows off camera. I don't have on any foundation. I'm pretty sure you guys can tell by these heat acne bumps. Yes, they have come from the heat. I've realized that heat and maybe a little bit of added stress. So for primer, because this pretty much matches my nails, my ring, my backdrop, and this palette, it's like everything is matching. This is the Too Faced Shadow Insurance Anti-Crease Eyeshadow Primer. Normally I don't use primers that have a colorless base to them, but since it matches, it's not a bad product either. See, it's like it blends out to nothing, but it still has a good amount of tackiness as you blend it out and it starts to dry down. I'm gonna go in with some of this LA Girl Pro Primer. This is the white base. I ran out of the NYX Milk Base. I'm applying this just so the eyeshadows can pop a little bit more, because when I swatched them, they weren't the most pigmented. I had to go in a couple of times to build them up. So this is just gonna help, and I'm only gonna apply a little bit so that there's not too much help. I want to see how these shadows perform. I'm going to start off with the Disney Ohana Lilo and Stitch palette. First, do I really have to say the whole name of the palette? But first I'm going to use the Ohana palette, and I'm going to take that shade called White Sand, and I'm going to apply that as my brow bone highlight. Of course, you guys know by now I don't really like a shimmery shadow as my highlighter or a highlighter as my brow bone why can't I speak? As my brow bone highlighter anymore. I just feel like it's a little bit too harsh. So I like going in with a more white shadow. I think matte white eyeshadows look so much better as a brow bone highlight. See how smooth it looks? It doesn't look harsh like a highlighter does. So for the crease, I'm going to go into the Oakland Matte and what is this name of this? Matte and Metal eyeshadow palette, and take the shade called Feather. It's more of like a light pale yellow shade. I'm gonna put that in the crease. I want something that's a little bit more cool tone rather than like a warm tone shade. I'm actually gonna go in with the shade Suede too and apply that in the crease as well. Bad. I don't really think it's showing up on camera too much. I feel like the lighting's kind of washing it out, but it is fine. Just know it is there. So I'm not gonna wet my brush with Fix Plus or anything like that because I want to see how these shades perform. Moving back onto the Lilo and Stitch palette. Alright, so zooming you guys in, I'm gonna start with the shade Kawaii, and it picked up pretty nice on the brush, and I'm gonna put that in the inner part of my lid first. I'm gonna kind of do like a rainbow type of look using the blue and greenish shades. So I think I'm gonna go in next with the shade called Aloha and put that right next to Kawaii. And I'm gonna kind of start to blend it in with the first shade. You don't want it to look like you're you have like a line here and a line here. Like you don't want it to show where it stops and where it ends and begins. So you want to kind of blend it in together. And I do want to bring these shades up into my crease area. It's like, which shade do I want to use next? So I think I'm gonna go in with the shade Experiment 626 first, which of course is Stitch. And I'm gonna put that on the outer part and kind of wing it out. I feel like the shade is not applying well at all. Oh, Stitch, your shade is not showing up too well.
Not my fault!
So I'm just gonna go back in and build the color up as much as possible and wing it out. So I'm gonna go in with Blue Hawaii, and I'm gonna add that into the outer part, not the outer wing part, but like the outer part right here, just to deepen it up a little bit. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna go and do the other eye right quick and fix this up off camera, and then I'll be right back to work on the lower lash part. Alright guys, and I'm back on. I did the, oh, let me zoom you guys in. I did the other eye off camera. Tried to clean them up, get them as even as possible, and I did the rest of my face too, which it actually looks pretty smooth. I noticed my skin likes a more dewy foundation, but anyway, just go straight in with the colors I used at the top. I don't think that I'm gonna use those crease shades at the bottom. I think I'm just gonna do what I did at the top to the bottom. Just gotta wipe this fallout off of my eyes first. There is a little bit. So now that I have the eyes like this, I'm gonna go ahead and apply some falsies, and I'll be right back to do the art look that I'm gonna create. Okay guys, and I'm back with my lashes on. You guys will not believe what just happened. So it just started raining really hard and thundering, and as I was applying my lashes, I almost jabbed myself in the eye with these things because the thunder scared me. Then when I went to put my mascara on my lower lash line, the mascara went right under here, like all in here and all in my eye. So it ended up smudging, which sucked. So I just brought the blue down a little bit further, and then it was like looking crazy. So then I had to use some setting powder to swipe it under my eyes and like clean it up, and it kind of like faded the blue a little bit. So I'm just gonna have to roll with it. Because if you guys could have seen me, I was like anyway, for this part, since I don't have what I need, which are like liners, like felt tip liners, colorful liners that could help me out with this look, I'm gonna use brushes instead. These both are Morphe, I think, and this one is a skinny tip liner pencil, but it's a little bit more stiff with the movement, so I think that would help me get the shape pretty well. And then I also have this if the other part is too thin. This is like a really small tapered brush, and it has a little bit of movement to it too, but not a whole lot, so I think these would really help me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw... So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first, dang, that thunder is loud. I'm gonna use this for reference since I'm gonna be looking into the mirror, but I'm gonna draw Stitch's head on the side of my face right here, and I'm gonna kind of connect his ear to this little point, which is why I wanted to wing it out a little bit more. And yes, I did. When I went off camera, I did apply a nude lipstick, but I just forgot to tell you guys, but I am going to use, of course, the eyeshadow called Experiment 626. Love saying it like that. So that I use his color, and it's good. So it's not really showing up, which is what I expected, so I'm gonna wet the brush a little bit. Hopefully it'll grab onto this a little bit better. Yep, that worked good. So for the rest of the drawing part, all you guys have to do is just sit back, relax, and watch. I'm gonna pretty much just kind of speed through it because I don't want it to take forever. I can tell I'm gonna have to keep wetting my brush. Ruined that part, but it's fine. I don't feel like I'm gonna get much use out of this palette anyway. Like, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. shading part to make it look a little bit realistic, like it's off the skin, I'm gonna go back into the Oakland Naturals palette, and I'm gonna use this gray shade called Stone and just shade just a little bit around it, and just a little bit because this is a very dark pigmented gray. Should be working with a lighter one, but it's okay. This is pretty much my finished look. I just added a little bit of detailing in for Stitch. I didn't realize until editing that I did make the bottom half of his ears a little bit too wide, but it's not like I could go back and fix it or erase it, so we're gonna look past that. And I think that looks really good. I'm so excited. I've never drawn on my face before, like a character. I have done drawings on paper, and maybe I'll show you guys that one time. And now I'm gonna give you guys my final thoughts on this palette. This palette, again, it's originally priced at $16.90, which is an excellent price for the palette. I think the quality of the palette is really good. Of course, it's not top notch. It is a cheaper palette, but I think the shadows, you really have to build them up to get the pigmentation to where you want it to be, or at least where I want it to be. I think the swatches weren't coming out good. I had to do like 3 swatches on my finger of like each shadow. I had to like dig in, so the swatches weren't that great, but I think when I applied it on my eyes and really build it up, it applied really nicely because I didn't even spray my brush when I applied it on my eyes, and as you guys can see, it looks really pigmented. Like, it actually looks the way it does in the palette. So I really love it. I love the color selection. I bought this palette back in December and I never used it because I was like, well, your spring and summer type of shade, so I try to wait for that time, and I really love them, especially this seafoam green shade. Again, it matches my nails and the backdrop and the ring, so I really love it. I definitely would recommend this palette, especially if you are a Disney collector palette like person like I am. I love Disney palettes. They are just so appealing to look at, and I love it, and the design on it is very beautiful. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this look. I had so much fun creating it, and it's definitely something different over here. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Please, please, please do not forget to give me a thumbs up, a huge thumbs up. Comment down below, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. I'm doing a little aloha thing.